1 minute. Go ahead, Tim.
I call for Culture, Climate, and Behavior Committee meeting at 6:32 o'clock in the boardroom of Oak High School. Please call the roll.
Ms. Alexander.
Present.
Dr. Applewhite.
Present.
Mr. Brandhorst.
Present.
Mr. Davis.
Present.
Mr. Diggs.
Present.
Ms. Emerson.
Present.
Ms. Grimes.
Present.
Ms. Jennings.
Present.
Ms. Landy.
Present.
Dr. Livingston. Ms. McQueen. Ms. Newman. Ms. Parker.
Present.
Ms. Stevens. Also like to recognize Mr. Carabella. Wait, pronounce it. Wilson, I'm sorry.
Caraballo.
Thank you. I'm tired. Mr. Coughlin.
Here.
Ms. Guerrero. Ms. Scriber and Ms. Walters.
Present.
Do we have any public comment?
We have one public comment to be written into the minutes, none in person, none via Zoom.
Okay. Do we want to read that live or do we want to?
No, when they send it to as to be written into the minutes, it's just written to the minutes. I don't read it live.
Super. Let's move on to approval of minutes. I move to approve the March 8th, 2023 Culture, Climate, and Behavior meeting minutes as presented. Are there any corrections or adjustments that need to be made? Hearing none.
Second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. And that brings us to.
Good evening, everyone. The first thing that we're going to start with tonight is something that we usually do at the meetings, which is our circle work. Just so that you know, we are going to be moving circle work usually to the end to be a reflective piece on the work that we've done within the meeting. But we're going to start today just because it's our first meeting at the start. So what I'm going to ask everyone to do is they come into the center and have a seat in the circle.
And as you're going into the circle, if you could bring a mic with you, but I do need you guys to talk into them.
And as we're moving, I'll let you know that the purpose of the circle work is kind of to center ourselves in the work that we're going to be doing tonight. Since some people are very new to our committee, it won't be anything very difficult today.
Also, when you guys are ready to speak into the mic, make sure that light is green. You don't have to speak directly into the mic, but in that direction.
So the work that we're here to do is going to focus our mind on the school and the students within the school and the work that we do here at the school. So in order to get us in a moment to kind of turn off the other part of our day and turn on this part of the day, I'd like you to just use 2 words to explain where you're at right now. Just what you're feeling or what your mind is kind of put that out, but just 2 words. Let's go through, not 2 sentences, 2 words. So I'll start and I'll just say hopeful and inspired. And I'm going to go to Mr. Davis next.
Very peaceful. Exhausted and tired. Stay ready.
Curious and excited.
Tired but hopeful.
Calm but inquisitive.
Right.
Interested and motivated. Energized and motivated. Bent and concerned. Stressed and interested. Looking forward.
Ms. Grimes, you might.
Looking forward to this, I achieved. Rough and grateful.
Or two words that explain where you are right now, just two words.
Late.
Listen, see, just make sure the mic is.
Oh, it's not.
This is that side.
Right, okay, now it's green.
Okay.
Late and pleasant.
Maybe just two words to say what you're feeling right now. Yeah. Just two words.
Oh, excited and happy.
And just do what I want to bring.
Maybe two.
What's that word?
Two words that just speak to what you're feeling right now.
Excited. Out of breath.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and what we'll do now is we're gonna go back to our seats and we're gonna start our next part of the agenda. Thank you.
What?
No problem.
We don't need that. Just sit wherever you want. Just looking for an empty.
For those who just joined us, there are name tags that begin to. And our next part, I just wanted to make sure that this group, since there are new members amongst us, wanted to make sure that everybody knew the purpose for us coming together in this meeting that we do once a month, so that we are always focused on the matter at hand. The group that we're in right now, CCD, which is our Culture, Climate, and Behavior Committee, is a board committee. And it's actually fulfilling a dual responsibility for the school. There used to be a committee called the PTAC, you may have heard of, which is the Parent Teacher Advisory Committee, which this committee that we're on right now is fulfilling, but as well as the Behavioral Interventions Committee as required under Board Policy 7230. So just so you have a little bit of an idea of what those were. In accordance with the Illinois School Code, the board establishes and maintains a parent advisory committee to assist in the development of student behavior policy and procedure, and provides information and recommendations to the board. Its members are parents, guardians, and teachers, and may include persons whose expertise or experience is needed. And then the Behavioral Interventions Committee is in accordance with school code and Illinois State's Board of Education guidelines. This committee develops and monitors procedures for using behavioral interventions in accordance with Board Policy 7230, which is the misconduct by students with disabilities, and provides information and recommendations to the board. At the board's discretion, the Parent Teacher Advisory Committee shall perform the duties assigned to the Behavioral Interventions Committee. So I say all of that to say we speak a lot here about the conduct of our students within the school, how our policies and procedures affect students within the school. And we want to make sure that we are looking at that through a lens of equity, so that we can make sure that no one student or one set of students are being unjustly penalized by our discipline behavior education plan as we have now, and to any of our procedures and policies that we have in place. Does anyone have any questions about those? Because I like to set the stage with that so that we know exactly why we come together. Okay, yes, Ms. Melody.
Just to clarify for everyone here, when we make suggestions, can you share at what point of the year those things are taken back to the board, and if and when they are implemented and what has been?
And when you say those things are taken back to the board, say,
Our suggestion. So you just mentioned the whole point of us being here.
yes,
And what we're talking about and our purpose.
yes,
And so, for the new people, I'm sure they would love to know, by them investing their time being here, at what point are things taken back to the board? Have things been accepted by the board? What things have been accepted? And at what point during the year do those suggestions go back?
so we do have 2 board members this cycle for this school year that are going to be on the board with us. This is Tim Randhorst, if everyone knows, one of our new board members, and then Jonathan Livingston. Dr. Livingston's not with us tonight, but he is one of the board members as well. As part of their committee reports, they take information from our committee to the board, and they speak on that when they have that during the their meeting times. So actual board members will take the board information to the board.
And I think that's like a great answer. Let me just add to it. I really see it as an ongoing process. There's not, one moment or a quarterly moment or an annual moment when the collective wisdom of this group goes to the board. I intend for that to be done on an ongoing basis. If there are ideas that we have at this table that the entire board should know about, I will tell them. I'll share that immediately. There are immediate things that can make the lives of our students better that we talk about in this forum. Then we need to be talking about this at the board table as well and making it happen. And I think I hope that it's going to be a 2-way dialogue. I think that there are this school year, I think that there are going to be some things that the board hopes that this group take up. Some issues, some questions. And so I think there may be more direct charges to this group from the board, questions that we want this group to think about and provide feedback around, maybe provide recommendations around. And so I'm hoping that it is a regular, ongoing 2-way dialogue.
To that point, and thank you to both of you for that comment. We just now heard what our mission is as we come together with this purpose. You were all asked to be here. And so I'm assuming that there were some thoughts that you had about participating on a committee like this. But I think it would be important for us to hear as a collective group. This is not forcing you to have a passionate reason for why you do it, but I am asking at this time, if you want to share like what you thought when you were invited and what you thought you were coming to and what you were hoping to get out of the experience, we would like to hear that at this time. And so I open the floor if there are any comments on what you hope to have accomplished here, what you're hoping to see, anything just that may be on your mind as you think about the purpose of us gathering once a month here. And as an educator, I am very comfortable with the pregnant pause. So I can
Wait time.
I can wait, yeah. Go ahead, excuse me.
Well, I can't stand pregnant pauses. So I would just say, so that I've lost track of how many years I've been on this committee. It seems like it's 3, possibly 4. I've lost track of when I joined. But as a former school social worker with the Chicago Public Schools, I'm very interested and passionate about education. It's a way for me to give back to my community that I care deeply about, and to have input into the process of important things that happen here in our school. And so I view it as an honor to be able to continue working in this capacity to give input.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes.
Well, I wasn't invited. I asked to be on it, but
Better.
well, I just felt like, I mean, like you said, this the committee makes a lot of decisions about like stuff, making stuff better for the students, and I just felt like there should be a student.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And it's Sonia, Sonia, it's important for us to have student voice here. A lot of last year we spent talking about how to get to students, and because of schedules and the harriedness of life, it was very prohibitive for some people to get to students, because I always say if you want to hear from students, come during the day, because that's when everyone's here. But we invite more students to come and join us as well, because that voice is so important. And we know it's a long day for you as it is for the working adults. And so we're thankful that you're here. So thank you for that. Anyone else?
Oh,
Okay, I'll go, yes. Hi, I'm Susan Stevens. I'm a community member. I had two daughters many years ago. Graduated from OPRF, and when I retired, so it's really important to me that I have some time to connect with our community, and children are, youth are our future. And we live in, I don't know, you could say controversial, turbulent, transitional time. And I want to be a part of the conversation.
Oh, it was, oh, yes. Oh. So, your name? Sonia.
Sonia. Hi, Sonia. So I have the same question for people that may not know about the work that we do at CTV, but they are interested and they may be in their minds. What is the route they should take to ask to be part of the group?
Great question. So when I spoke about invitations, Lisa Evans reached out to individuals in order to find out who would be interested in being a part of this committee. So Lisa, when it comes to students wanting to join, are they able to see you about that? Do they have? Okay.
They can actually come to my office and see me. They can send me an email if they want to join as well. And that's for also any community member that might want to join. They could just easily send me an email and we'll put your name for the board to approve, and that's it.
That right there, that's my.
So anyone who is interested, if you contact Lisa Evans, clerk of the board, she can definitely get you added to the list.
Is that ongoing still for this year?
Ongoing, yes, yes.
Thank you.
With that, I'm going to thank everyone who participated. And for those who are thinking about it, because I know that there's always thought involved, whether we were voluntold, or came on our own, we definitely all have opinion about where we are. And I am one to never want to waste our time. This is very important work to me because it affects the students that go to our school, and we have a lot of students here at the school. So I always ask individuals when you serve on committees like this, to be ready to broaden your mind, to think about more than just the child you walk in the room thinking about. Because there is a responsibility for all of us in a position like this to be able to think about the least of these as well as the highest of these, because we serve all of them in this building. And so it's important for us to have a global viewpoint and to make informed decisions when we do so that we're making sure that we are speaking the student's voice. Oftentimes I'm in meetings and people will tell me what kids want, and I'm like, have you talked to a kid? Like I need to know you've talked to a kid, because like that's how I know kids' voice. I go out and they tell me things and I come back and I'm like, did you all know? And that's an important thing for us to do. And the only way I've learned how to do that is to be in their space with them. So they know I get in their space and I come in there, just because I need to make sure they know I'll come where they are, versus them having to find us. So that's really important to us, and we have access to the students here at the school. And so I do want to make sure that we do that. There was a question for brainstorming that Lisa sent out in the agenda that I was hopeful that you thought about a little bit before you came here today. And that brainstorming topic is what I want to bring us to in our discussion item C today. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this. And we oftentimes are looking at the culture within our building and how it feels to be a student or a staff person within the building. Because this building is serving both. So where we are here to make sure that students are learning and have a wonderful environment to do so, we know that without the adults in this building, that can't happen, because the adults are who bring that learning and knowledge to the students in whatever way they serve in the building. So I'm not speaking of just our teachers in the room, but I also speak of our staff, like our cafeteria staff who are feeding their minds with the lunches and breakfasts and snacks that they provide. The custodial staff, because we know we can't really focus when our area is dirty or disheveled, right? To our ancillary staff who help us to get the work done in the building every day, secretaries, people who bring us our rosters and things and keep things in order. All of these people exist within this space and need this place to be a welcoming space. Because what we do know is that when you don't feel as though you fit in the building, then you don't feel you fit with the work of the building. So the question today was around that. And so even those of you who don't live in our building working every day, as some of us do, I'm posing this question to you because you also are looking from the outside into this. And the question that was sent out was, how are we collectively making OPRF the most welcoming place for all it serves? And so I was just placing into your mind who I mean by all. And in all that richness, when I talk about adults and students, I am also talking about the diverse students body we serve, whether that be race, whether that be gender or non-binary, whether that be nationality. I need us to think of all students when we're thinking about the question that I'm going to pass around. And there's an activity that we're going to do. The first part of the activity is going to be timed. And it's going to have us kind of working on paper. We're going to write this out first because the ideas you just shared, as Ms. McQueen just said, we want to make sure we're keeping track of those. And the best way to do that is to document them on paper. So that's what we're going to do. If you don't have a writing utensil, I did bring one for you. But I want to tell you the instructions because I know just like our students, we get excited and we just start the activity before we read the instructions. So even though I put them in blue on this, I'm like, I'm going to say it first. You're going to be given a sheet of paper. And on this paper, you are going to start as the first writer. So when you get it, it's blank except for the instructions, and you are the first writer. So there's instructions on it. The prompt is what I just read in terms of the question. What you're going to do as the first writer is that you're going to share something that you believe we already do as a school or as a district to meet the question. So something you've experienced, something your child may have experienced, something you've heard about, so you're going to put that down in the part that says what we already do. And then the second part you're going to do is you're going to share an idea, something that you think we could be doing to address the question. Okay, doesn't have to be perfectly formed. This is not the dissertation. This is just I was thinking about this and I thought that I should share this. And then I'm going to call time, and you're going to pass your paper to the right. And I'm going to stand over there to get the gap and make sure it gets over to the other side, okay? And then when you get the next paper, you are no longer the first writer, you're a subsequent writer. And you are now reading what the person believes we already do. And then you're going to look at the idea that you see, and you're going to elaborate on that idea. You're not going to judge that idea. You're not going to say why it won't work because Ernest Hemingway wasn't here to put a stamp of proof. You're not going to do that. You're just going to look at the idea and give any thoughts that you have on how you could grow that idea, okay? It doesn't have to be neat. It's brainstorming. So you can just write on the paper as you need to. As the papers keep going around, though, there will be more elaboration. So just don't run into someone else's. But you can write however you like on the paper to do this. Once we complete all of our rounds and you get your paper back, we're going to speak out about what it was that you shared as an idea and talk about it. And depending on the time we have left, because I think I'm going to give you 1 minute for each part. And I'm going to see how that feels at first, is because I know we have limited time. I might give a minute and a half, but I just want to make sure we're passing succinctly, okay? Then we have questions on that, on the process we're about to do. Okay, I'm going to pass these around. Everyone gets one sheet. I'm going to pass some writing utensils around if you need one. I'm going to run to my office because I think I have 3 less sheets than I need. I was trying to get sorry, it's on the couch. Did you say 14? But I think it's more than 14.
Oh, no, sorry.
Could you pass on the pencils, please? Thank you, Susan.
You need a pencil.
Yeah, no, I'm good, thank you.
No.
I have more pencils on this.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
She's grabbing one.
I grab one. Who does it? Or just two?
I forgot the extra people.
Okay, okay. I'll start with a minute and a half because you have to start by giving the both, okay? So you're on the clock right now, you're doing the first writer. Starting with something you believe we already do, and then your idea. No idea is big or small. Or too big. $15 seconds. Okay, we pass our paper to the right.
Wait, that was
It just.
for both?
That was a minute and a half. That's enough.
No.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna walk slowly and I haven't started the next clock. Yeah, but those of you who pass, you can start, but if I haven't, you got it, guys? No, a minute and a half.
Do both, huh?
Yeah, sorry, that's okay.
Yes.
That's okay. It's okay. I haven't started the clock yet. Those of you who have a paper though can. You're good.
Been here a long time, I know what I want.
Passing it to the right.
Yeah, she's passing to right. Did you get all of her?
Yeah. Okay, I haven't started the clock. You will have your paper back, so you will get a chance to. We're on the clock again. These I'm giving a minute for to just elaborate on someone's idea.
Oh,
So you have a full minute to elaborate on the idea you see.
Mhm.
Okay.
oh, no,
So-
it's not the next one.
Yeah,
I thought you said you started. I was like, oh,
You're elaborating. Yes, you're starting. You're elaborating on the idea.
I told you about.
And not on the lines, because that's where the person wrote, right underneath it. Anywhere in the white space you can write. You're elaborating on the idea you see. We're not judging it. We're not saying this will work, this is not gonna work. You're just elaborating on that idea. If there's an idea you don't see thoughts on, you can not write. But we've got 15 seconds. And we'll get to the right again. Oh, I'm sorry, you weren't. Okay, another minute. If I'm going too fast, too, just let me know. I don't mind slowing down. I'm watching the group and I'm seeing when pins are starting and stopping.
I have a question.
Yes.
So obviously the new visitor here,
Mhm.
but I'm just curious, well, I'm sure we've had public by now.
Mhm.
But can you explain a little bit about the activity and what the outcome is? Or let me
Yes.
do the whole thing.
Sure, sure, yeah, I sure will. Absolutely, absolutely. Mhm.
I didn't spell that right, but I think I know what I mean.
Okay. And remember, part of the reason we're doing this, you're seeing the ideas of colleagues in the rooms and it gives you just some things you may not have thought of. And we're trying to grow our experience and not be in a box where we're always trying to repeat the things we've done if they're not necessarily all working in the way we want them to. We have about 10 seconds left. One more to the right.
Not like we should end up slow.
Nah,
It's okay. It's not meant to. I will stretch this one. I'm gonna pause and give us some extra seconds.
yeah.
It's not meant to-
Read everybody.
Yes. It's not meant to stress. I can go a little longer. I'm trying to keep us to time too, because I know at the end. I'll go back to a minute and a half. I love this though, because it helps us to also understand we're in classrooms and we're like, the kids have to get it in the 40 minutes, they have to go. Sometimes it takes a little longer and that's okay. It's okay. Yes, yeah. It is hump day.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just curious.
Mhm.
So while you guys have this activity and exercise now, is there one that you guys share with the entire board or with the superintendent and with we're trying to think of the person's name? The upper higher administration. So like, this is great for the committee itself,
Mhm.
but when does it or ever does it expand that everyone else has had this opportunity to see how the larger community thinks? Or is that the purpose of this committee, is that this is a smaller group so they can think and then disseminate the information?
So couple of things. One, I am just now taking over the lead to this one. Typically yes. So typically we have worked within our committee and there are certain things we get to that we actually vote on that then go to the board. This is the first time we've started like this because I brought this activity. So we don't usually do an activity like this. I brought this for the first time today.
I appreciate it.
Yes. And it's to have us being more strategic in our thinking about what it is we want to see happen at the school and for the school.
Oh, could you see, sorry, just that.
Give me 1 second. I'm
Yes,
trying to
of
make
course.
sure my slide is. 15 more seconds, guys. I never switched the other one. I'm sorry, I was talking. That's okay. The superintendent is texting me. I'm like, boy, I'm trying to work. Where are you? Okay, we're switching to the right if you have none. That was I never switched us from that.
So we did straight.
Okay, I can't talk anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't talk anymore. That was me. I'm talking. Okay. Okay. Are you still moving?
You already moved.
I'm sorry. I have names, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna watch Krista and when she moves her paper, I mean, she's finished. I don't know. So wait before we move it.
Okay, but she can start early though.
I'm sorry. You're freaking bored. You better run this beach. I'm trying hard to do what you asked me. Where are you with paper? She's got a book for paper. Okay.
Oh. Hilarious.
You have 30 more seconds on the paper you're on.
It's like speed dating.
I know. I'm like,
That's more fun though. This is not as stressful.
We're trying to really.
read. I know the one. Okay, so I'm gonna do a hard pause where we're at now. And I'm going to just add a minute to where you are right now in this. So we're just gonna take a minute on the paper you have now. Okay, so that everybody gets a chance and then we will start back again.
Dr. Johnson.
We are working on an activity, but I can't talk to you.
Like twice.
When I walked in, I couldn't help.
You walked into a high pressure button.
And the fuck is in charge?
And you'll have 30 seconds left. This is what we're working.
Thanks.
We use this at home, the kids can only see what they're going to do with chores. That's all they can say.
How much homework this young woman already had. Just possible.
Okay, you're switching to the right. You are allowed to write on the back of the paper if you get to it, and you see a lot on the front. You're two behind. Okay, okay. Okay, it's okay. I'm giving you 2 minutes so you get a chance to read what everybody else's thoughts are. It is okay to repeat what I should have said now that I see you're reading everyone else's. You don't have to read everyone else's. The person who gets their paper back will read everyone else's. You're just adding your thought to theirs. That way, if there are multiple ideas that are the same, when the author gets it back, they'll say, it seems like 3 people thought we could do it this way. So you're not responsible for reading it. Yes, and that was, I did not say that clearly. So you don't have to read everyone else's. Your idea can still be your idea if someone else has written it already. But I am giving you more time still. Did you finish that one?
Oh, my God.
You keep I'm over here on his part, we losing people. And then keep an eye out because your paper is coming back. For actual paper, we're coming back.
People just write one word.
Right.
That's not judgment.
Remember, this is brainstorming, so if you think back to English, they say free writing, this is not about punctuation, this is not about perfection, this is just about putting an idea on the paper.
About to write one word too. There you go.
You got 20 seconds,
Okay.
and I understand I'm differentiating, so it's okay, I just gotta get the papers to the
One
people.
word, there you go.
Oh, God.
Okay. So we are on a pass, we're passing along. If you are not yet at a pass, person with pass, we're just gonna wait. We're all friends in the room. We're doing a time check. It's 7:10. By 7:15, I'm hopeful that, because I do want us to share out, and I do know our meeting ends at 7:30, so I want to give us time to share out, which is why the timing was where it was, but it's not to pressure and to cause anxiety or stress. This is the manageable stress we talk about in our wellness. Like, this is not the stress that pushes us over. This is just the, we're going to make a difference for the children with this. So. Putting us on a 1-minute clock right now. It's okay. No. We will still have great ideas.
I gotta figure out what they're talking about. I think, but
No, remember, you just look at the idea.
I have to look at
You look
this
at the
idea.
idea.
Right, I know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
you look at the idea. You don't look at the free write, the author's gonna look at all the free writing.
Oh, God.
25 more seconds on the sheet you have. That's a lot of fun. I thank you for that. We did that on a Wednesday night. As I contemplate, should I still go to the gym or not?
Yeah.
First thing in the morning. Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, can't get out there, gotta get it done. Can't steal from the morning, please. Just so precious. Yeah.
I remember you. I thought I have too soon to be in this meeting tonight.
I didn't have any. There's another one.
You have to go around and get your original back.
You haven't passed yet, you're passing. Someone's gonna see there soon, we'll know it, right there in our rotation.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have purpose.
No, it's there.
Oh, this-
Yes, and then you all switch with each other, and then that way you'll have seen them, and then you're sending it to Jessica. You are doing fabulous. Stay encouraged. Great, it's a marathon. We're in it for the long run. We're gonna have so many great ideas, though. I'm so encouraged. The time check, we're at 7:14.
There it goes back to you. No.
Got 10 seconds left and then we're going to pass. Okay, we're on a pass. What I think I may do is one more round and then I'm just going to get the papers. It's okay. And then we will take the suggestions we have. We still have a lot of suggestions. It doesn't. Doesn't matter. It's still, even if you don't get every single one. Okay. Still winning. Just want to do this is my last one.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is so.
How are we used to do this?
10 seconds back. Stop us. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get papers back to their owners. So that I can have us looking at ours, and I know this is one of the. So that way we know where we're at.
No, I mean, we could just pass them around until we get to the.
That is true. We can pass
That's
to
not
the,
mine.
I just think that these are gonna be on the. But just pass till we get, pass until you get to yours. So that you're looking for yours back, so you're looking for your.
That was one.
That's right. 3 hours previous, but I'm.
That's you? Nope. Okay. When you get your paper back, I want you to look in, thank you. I don't know. what it is. You haven't got any other back left. That's another. Okay. You see yours? Okay. I don't know. Melanie, you see yours? Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. I've got 2 more. Who doesn't have their yet? Oh, Stephanie, are you one of these? Okay. And then I have one more.
Let me see if that's. Yeah. Okay.
I'm having you look now at the elaboration of your ideas. And then what I'd like to have us do is to share out. I'm having you look for some commonalities in the elaborations to see if that's something that can grow the idea that you had. And I do want to hear out ideas because I'm going to keep your paper because of course I want to know all your ideas as well. But I want you to look at what others have written. And then I'm going to have us share a little bit. And I always put the first thing that I put there, which is what are we already doing? Sometimes we can tend to look and focus in on only the things that still need work versus looking at, there are some great things happening. This is one of those, and this is an idea that I have. I also am a huge proponent of not just bringing the problem. Like problems are very easy to recognize, and what we often are lacking are solutions or ideas to tackle problems that we see. So whenever I sit with students on Thursdays, I'm always like, I want to hear what's not going well for you, but I also want some suggestions that you have on what we can do to rectify that problem. Because we could sit and talk about the problem forever. Let's talk about what we could do that's not a problem that might address it. Okay, so that's the reason for this activity, is that we need ideas to grow our culture within the building so that everybody feels they belong and that they fit. And then we have less and less people having negative interactions in our discipline code, which is why we come together to talk about different ways that we can address conduct within the building that still uplifts the humanity of the individuals we serve in the building. Okay. So would anyone like to share out their thing that is going, that they notice now, and then an idea and what you saw with the elaboration with that? Don't forget to turn your mic on.
I'll share.
Okay. That's a mic.
So what we already do is that here we give everyone an opportunity to speak and share their ideas. But I think what we should do is, specifically with our students, is teach them how to give effective and constructive feedback. Because sometimes they want to, like you said, tell us everything, but it not be solutions or outcome based. And so I think it should be, it can be anonymous, but I think sometimes it has no context or nowhere to go sometimes. So they want to come and tell you everything, but then what do we do with a lot of the information that they give us, or sometimes how they give us information and have no structure. So a lot of the answers or suggestions that were given were really good. They said things like, give them a specific topic to talk about based off things that are going on, to have them respond to and then take their ideas. The assembled check-in with teachers, basically have the conversation begin in the classroom and then they come out. A suggestion box. I've seen that done in some schools where they come in and they write down, it's kind of some structured type of responses that they, how they want the students to give them information. Promote these food lunches with Principal Parker. Open up more community opportunities like what we participated in today. Because this was a little bit more structured than what students are often allowed to do. I think they just come in and talk to you, but it's kind of no structure to it. So just giving a little bit more structure to how they communicate.
Thank you. One of the things that came to my mind as Dr. Applewhite was saying that is the story of Chicken Little. One thing I have recognized as principal of the building is that I will always know about the fire and everything always seems to be on fire. And the thing that I tell all contingents of people that I speak to, all stakeholders, is that when everything is always on fire, then you'll always have a hose. And I'm always just extinguishing, right? If everything is a nail, I'm always just bringing a hammer. The thing is we have to adjust because sometimes it's a screw and it's not a nail, but if every time we just talk about it as a nail and it's just like this, then it's like everything's always an emergency and you never get to the real, like what's really on fire, what really needs to be fixed, what really needs to happen. And so it's important that we start to think about in our ideas that we have, these things are okay. These things could use some work in them. These are the things that really need attention so that we can focus on the things that need attention without always focusing outward of that and then missing the mark completely. That's the thing that I heard in that comment in terms of having ideas that we're going to bring to share. Is like, how do we get these ideas in? Who are vetting these ideas? And then how are we pushing the ideas out to make sure that it's serving our community with that? So thank you for that very much. Ms. Karen.
Yeah, can I respond to that? I'm not sure.
No response. You gotta go with your paper. Because
Okay.
Go with your idea. Yeah, no, so we're not, again, this is not judging what we hear.
Okay.
It's just, yes.
No, mine was about bringing community members in to be invited to classes to share the knowledge, which is an old idea, career day area. But there are lots of ideas here about making sure it's a diverse group of people, but also having a structured way for parents to sign up. And then perhaps be part of a mentoring thing too, although if it was mentoring, I think you might have to be vetted a little bit, if you're going to be working with students in that way, but lots of different ideas on the old career day idea. But I don't know how much that is in place now.
It happened today.
Yeah, I was about to say, when we talk about my future, my pathway that happened today, one of the things I was talking to with Chris Johnson, our director of student services, is in this community, we should never run out of people who could come in and actually facilitate conversations with our students to talk about careers, to talk about platforms, to talk about things they could be invested in. And so it takes the work of like connecting with the community to get those people in here and actually having that voice in that circle as well. So that's you got
to make a structure to find those people.
Absolutely, because that's what I'm saying. We have to pull those people in because we know they exist. Exactly. They are, I think it's show and tell. They are people's parents, but they are people's families who are already there. I'm going to take one more and then I'm going to tell us all why I stopped Karen in terms of what we are going to talk about with these. Go right ahead, Jessica.
Thank you. So this kind of piggybacks a little bit what you were saying, but
your microphone.
Oh,
Thank you.
sorry. It's just about you guys. You were talking about the teachers and the students and all of the people that are supporting just the community within this building. And I think it's really important. Yes, of course, to bring in people from the community, but also for the students to have the experience of being the teacher. So kind of like, and those teachers also having the opportunity to be the students, or the students having to work with the custodial staff. So like they know and they understand what people are dealing with other than themselves that are walking through and living within this building. So I think it's, if you walk in somebody else's shoes, you have a better understanding of where they're coming from. And I think to give everyone the opportunity within the building to walk in another department or whatnot really gives such a great perspective.
touched on a heartstring of mine because it always humbles me when we can the empathy comes when we can put ourselves in another person's like thought pattern or shoes and say, I guess I won't just throw my stuff on the floor now that I see who this person is and what they have to do. One of the ideas I had was like, you know how you go into places and you see signs that say this hallway was maintained by? I was thinking of doing that with pictures of our custodial staff down the hall, like so that people knew human beings clean this area. And so when you just leave stuff anywhere, like this is the person who's being affected by that, just so that we have a higher level of consciousness about it. Because when I don't see you, and I tell people this even about the students when there's 3,000 of them, when we don't see them and they think they're invisible, they do things that people who think they're invisible do, which is not always great. And so when you look them in the eye and you acknowledge them with a name, or you acknowledge them with a hi, or with a gray shirt, or with it's like you saw me. And so I'm less likely to go do that thing because I know you saw me, and they'll be like, nope, sorry, she's going around, and that's important too. So we are 2 minutes to time, but the reason I stopped caring about like the ideas, you have now given us 16 pages of ideas that are going to come back to these meetings so that we can really like hammer out where we want to go with these ideas. Are they ones we can push forward? How are we going to get out into the community to find those people who are going to come into these spaces? When will they do that? How will we make sure that the kids have a way of giving their ideas and sharing their thoughts? We're going to hammer these ideas out on different occasions when we come back here. So this was the kickstart to that, which is why I didn't want us to speak about them now, because they will come back to us in one of our discussion items as we go through. So this was kind of a way to front load what we're going to be doing. And then you've heard some as you've been sitting here now today. So you're going to leave that paper here on your table. Don't steal my paper. That's my paper. And nobody put any names or anything. We're just going to bring those back each week so that I can talk about ideas that are on there and put them as agenda items. I'm going to turn this over to Tim Brandhorst again so he can do the board things that have to be done at the end of board meeting.
I think I speak for everybody. That was a fantastic exercise.
We will talk more.
That was fun, and I think we got a ton of great ideas out of it, so thank you. So let me adjourn the meeting. I, Tim Brandhorst, move to adjourn the committee of the whole, move to adjourn the meeting of
Culture.
So seconded.
On September 13th. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.